Mackenzie.
Lemar.
What the fuck did we just watch?
Do you even have a cold open here?
That
Like,
honestly, that's where my gut goes, is to say we are 4 movies deep, probably 8 drinks deep, and what the fuck did we just? I knew I wanted to have this as part of our mayhem. I thought it'd be fun to end on a bad movie. But
I mean, how do you feel? Listen, I'm not gonna roast you too hard because I understood the impetus, but like, how are you feeling now? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm still okay with it. I
Okay.
laughed a lot.
Okay.
Unintentional laughter on the
Okay.
part of the movie,
Okay.
but just at how horrible this was. So before we get into all the terrible, terrible, no good nonsense that we just saw in the last 90 minutes, what's your reaction, I guess, to Mayhem? You know, we've done 4 movies in one day. Good idea.
Great.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea. We have to give super props to Lemar. We had vaguely talked about this in like the outset a long time ago, but we hadn't really, capitalized on it. And you were just like, you know what? I think we need to do a fucking marathon and go for it. We talked about it with something else, which I'm not going to share because we might
end up doing it.
Because we might do it. So I'm not going to share it. But it didn't work out. And so I'm glad that we rejiggered. And I actually think this was a great play for it. I think it worked out awesome.
It was a good pivot. It's like low stakes cinema, like alien invasions. I mean, we watched some good stuff. We watched some average stuff. We watched some not so good stuff. But yeah, I think it worked out really well. And it was cool to just power through them because now we don't have to record for another.
Listen, we have really complicated schedules between the two of us. So actually, logistically, it was great. But no, it was a fun time. I was like, and I found myself personally, like, I don't know about you, but in like the few days leading up to it, I was like getting more excited. Yeah. I was like, this is going to be fun.
It was nice. And it was just nice hanging out and watching movies together because typically we do this all remotely. And so very rarely do we actually get to go to the theater and see the movies together. This was a good time.
This was a good time.
The movie was not a good time.
The movie was not a good time. The last movie was not a good time. Not a good time. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Let's like knock it out. All right. Let's roll. Welcome back to We Drink and We Watch Things. I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Lemar.
We are so miserable. Like, let's be so real. The progression, it's not the day so much. It's not the progression of the day. It's not the concept of what we did this month, which was a great idea on Lamar's part. But fuck if we didn't end on the worst entry, man.
Well, I'm glad we did. In a way, I'm glad we did because I had told you, I was like, look, if we do this War of the Worlds, it's I hadn't seen it yet. Notoriously bad, though. I said at the very worst, we power through, we laugh our ass drunk through the last movie.
But we didn't laugh as much as we thought we would, I think.
It was more just like pointing of like, what the fuck is happening? But I do think we watched, 2 weeks ago, those of you that have been listening, we did No One Will Save You.
Yes.
Which is a movie that is very unique in a specific way. I won't spoil it if you didn't listen to that episode. But I told Mackenzie, I was like, I feel like this is going to be a short one because there's only so many things you can say about this because of its uniqueness. This one I feel might be shorter of an episode because there's only so much we can say and it's all bad.
It's all bad. It's because I don't want to just rage at you for an hour that this will be shorter because I have no nice things to say. I will say while we were watching it, I was reaching. I think I did reach here and there. I was like, what about this? What about that? Anyway, we're not even there yet. We'll get into it. We have had so many drinks even during this movie to get through this. But what are we going to do to talk about it?
Well, I was going to say, you were the one. You were 20 minutes into the movie and she was like, even though we've had like 6 drinks today, you were like, I'm not drunk enough for this.
I'm not. So I wasn't.
To give you guys the best possible final product, we did a shot of tequila during War of the Worlds. But our final drink of the day is a shot of tequila, half a shot of Cointreau, 3/4 shot of passion fruit liqueur, a fluid ounce of lime juice, a half ounce of simple syrup. You're going to shake all that up and strain it into a rocks glass with tahini on the rim. And then you're going to top it off with some tonic water and then stir that around. And this is the first time I think that I have made a drink as an insult to the movie. We always name it. We always name it based on like a plot line or some reference,
or whatever.
This was the first time I was like, we have to do something with passion fruit because I really want to call this the Impassioned Project. None of this feels sincere. None of this movie feels like anyone was invested. It's just people collecting a paycheck, and it's fucking horrible.
It's horrible. All right, well, hopefully the drink is better. I'm sure it is. Cheers. It is so much better. Thank you for that.
The drink is better than the movie.
Also, fun fact, I mean, I don't have a Zoom option right now, but I just want to call out that these are my grandfathers, born in 1925. These are my grandfather's lowball glasses that I still have, and they are movie themed. They say things like John Barrymore was a famous actor, Clara Bow, Charlie Chaplin, etc. My favorite thing about this is that my grandfather notoriously hated movies.
Oh, but they were his.
But they were his. I don't know why. I don't know why, you guys, but I took them because I love them after he passed. But anyway, cheers to my Grandpa David.
Yeah, cheers to Grandpa.
All right. Let's fucking rage, huh? All right. So this is a shit show. I'm going to hit you with some basics. Whatever. Spoiler warning. Don't turn around. Don't drown. I'm ready to rage.
Yeah.
This is actually released, and this is an important point, although it doesn't sound like it, in 2025. This, to be fair, was filmed in 2020.
And it feels, I didn't look that up, but like 15 minutes of the movie, I was like, was this literally the first movie they tried to make when COVID happened?
Right.
Like April week 1?
I said that out loud to Lemar, and he was like, I have in my notes, is this a COVID movie? Like, what was that? Yes.
And it's like they did intend, like, that's why everyone is separate throughout the entire film. And then they probably went back and added all the bullshit AI and like
but I need you to understand,
CGI.
They had 5 years.
To make it better?
To make it better. And they fucking put this out. I can't. It's so bad. Okay. 2.5 out of 10 on IMDb. 4% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Only 20% from audiences, which, by the way, I think is fucking generous.
Like 1 in 5 people? They must be huge Ice Cube fans.
I mean, truly. Like why? Why would you even?
Yeah.
Okay. Basics. Director, Rich Lee, did Minority Report. What in the actual fuck?
Did he actually direct Minority Report? I saw him as doing like a bunch of music videos, and I could be wrong. I don't know if he actually directed Minority Report, but I feel like he is like visual effects on movies, but this might be one of his few directorial. Not that it is
Maybe
that
this
important.
Is his
I would be surprised if Minority Report was like a directorial thing for him.
Either way, you learned on it. What in the actual fuck? Okay. Our writers here. So I asked, just fun fact for this section, I asked Lemar midway, I was like, I am trying to prep for this and I give 0 fucks. Like, do I have to really commit to the bit? And he said I didn't. So just so you know. Okay. Writer, Kenny Gold, Mark Hyman. Kenny Gold did The Job, which has a 4.2 out of 10.
A little better than this. Okay.
A little better. So he actually did something better than this, but not by much. Mark Hyman did the first Transformers, which again is on the wall and I mean is way better than this.
I think when I was looking at his credits, he's on a lot of like those big 4 to 6 person writing teams. So he gets like a shout out. I don't know if that's the case with Transformers. Go ahead and check that one. Yeah. But he's on a lot of movies you would recognize, but it's always like he came up with part of the story or he did like this little
tweak storyboard guy.
Like he's not the main single script writer. The only thing I found that he did right was Osmosis Jones, which was like an animated Chris Rock movie, I think.
Yeah.
And that actually has a decent score, but that's the only thing I saw that was his.
He also did The Perfect Score, if you've never seen that, which was like moderate. It was fine. It was like like Scarlett Johansson early days, Chris Evans early days. Like it was like a weird, I don't know, almost like it was Faculty-esque, but it was about passing a test.
Okay. This is kind of when we did No One Will Save You. I said that movie is pure concept. They had a thing, they ran with it, but they didn't half-ass it, and that's why it's acceptable at the end.
This is pure concept, but they don't execute.
But they put no effort, no budget, and they just sort of like forced it out after 5 years, and it's for that reason terrible.
Which is a perfect segue into the source material.
Amazon.com.
I want to rage. The source material, you guys, if you didn't know, is in fact War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. I'm sure there's a few nerds out there, not just me, who was like, is it the same? Is it referencing the same thing? Is it an adaptation? There are aliens. Are we sure? Yes, they credit the original 1898 H.G. Wells War of the Worlds as the source material for this film, and I am fucking offended. It's not even close. The Tom Cruise version is like it's closer in terms of prep. The only commonality that I can find is alien invasion, and I'm trying to save my family. That's it.
Which is like every alien.
Which is every alien invasion. Yeah. It's not. It has nothing to do with the overall themes of. H.G. Wells was trying to like talk about imperialism and how bad it was, and all these other. There's so much richness to this very simple story of Martians, actually Martians invading, and this does none of that.
No.
And you get no substantive plot line. It's so fucking bad. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about this, guys.
It's okay.
So major cast and crew. I looked up nothing because I give 0 fucks. Ice Cube's in it. Eva Longoria's in it. Clark Gregg is in it. We got,
which is like a solid starting 3.
Here's
you
the
would
other thing.
Think
it's a good cast.
Yeah.
It is a good cast. I don't know.
They are trying their I won't say they're trying their best. They're collecting paychecks. But for the most part, everyone in this, with the exception of Ice Cube, I think, who might have been given his script on day 1 and they just said, read this.
Literally
sit at this computer and read.
They didn't even make him do multiple takes.
Yeah, this feels like, I asked you at one point, I was like, is this a one-shot? Is this a one-shot that we don't know about? And they just said, yeah, that was a perfect take.
It's a virtual oneer and it doesn't play well. So yeah, no, these are, my theory here is like everybody of note who is in this is somebody who was, they just overspend on their fame and they were just paying off some debt is my read.
And then the other people that are in it, I feel bad because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see them in anything else because they were in this piece of shit.
It was, yeah. You'll be like, oh, that guy from that? Ooh. Okay. Amon Benson, Henry Hunter Hall, Devin Bostick, Michael O'Neill, and Andrea Savage. That's it. That's all I've got for you. I don't care. Plot summary. A colossal invasion of Earth is coming in this off-kilter, that's kind, take on the legendary novel of the same name, filled with present-day themes of technology.
Amazon, Tesla, yes. Other companies that you can buy things
we're never
from.
going to make it through this. It's so bad. Filled with present-day themes of technology, government surveillance, and privacy. It tried. Would we say that it did it? I don't think it tried.
I think the guys that wrote the script had an intention of being like, yes, this is a story about data and privacy, but they did not tie it together in the most interesting way.
Or here's, conspiracy, like put on your tinfoil hat with me thing, right? Like this is funded by Amazon. The Amazon, literally it's Amazon Prime, it's Amazon Studios. There's Amazon logos all over this thing. The GPS on the NSA plane is powered by Amazon Air. I need you to understand. It's there so many times.
And it feels like it's like contradicting itself because the first thing I wrote down was, is this just a money laundering scheme?
Yes.
But then you find out it's like, oh no, Amazon funded this.
Yes.
There are advertisements throughout for Tesla, for Teams, for Fox News, for like Primary, like you said.
Did we just give money to the
I'm reasonably sure we just made all the billionaires like 10 cents richer. They literally, there's a plot line that gets resolved with $1,000 Amazon gift card.
100%.
What the fuck?
Okay, so all this to say, like everything about the plot line itself is not rooted in the actual core story, which is stick it to the man. Stick it to the surveillance of the man. What they're trying to do, here's the thing. I'll give them 2.2 seconds of credit that they are trying to modernize the story of imperialism, which is the point of the novel, right? It is about colonization. It's about imperialism. It's about invading and destroying communities and creating unlivable environments and all the catastrophic consequences of imperialism. That's the story in the early 1800s. It was modernized in the Tom Cruise version, pretty decently. What they're trying to do now is deal with the advent of a hyper surveillance, the NSA surveillance of it all, the fact that every single one of us is super, super surveilled. All of our data is in the cloud and all the things. And they have so much information about us. That in and of itself as a concept is not a bad modernization to this story. The problem is, in fact, that they execute so fucking poorly. If I hear the Teams call ringtone one more time, the way I'm gonna cut a bitch. It was so bad. It was so unrealistic. You're in these hyper intense states of emergency and you are Teams messaging a person. Hey, I need this hyper person, like this really secure password.
Yeah, need a password
I
for
need
this.
a
That's
password.
how the government works.
Can you just send it to me? We didn't video verify. There was no fingerprint verification. There was no video call for that request. I need you to understand. He's like, hey,
He just typed all caps. My daughter's in trouble.
It's
and they
a
said,
DEFCON 1 situation, and I need you to Teams me the password. Are you kidding me?
It's also just, if you want to, I'm trying to give credit, like any credit at all. It's very difficult.
Searching.
But like, well, speaking of searching, that was the reference I was going to make was, okay, if they set out during COVID to be like, how can we make a movie remotely with these actors? And I know it didn't come out till 5 years later, but like, okay, they wrote a script designed for that purpose with this whole screen sharing. It all takes place on a computer screen, basically. However, the movie Searching had come out 2 years prior to this with John Cho, and that movie is great. And it all takes place on a home laptop, and he's like searching for his missing daughter and doing video calls and like looking back at Instagram feeds to try and solve this mystery. So it's like this had already been done.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving them any credit for that either.
No.
Like it's not an original concept.
There are so, I mean, of course the name is escaping me right now, but there are so many similar concepts in terms of camera isolation where you can't shoot in multiple places that have a better story. There's a Tom Hardy story where he's like on a commute. He's only in his car on the phone with people for like 8 hours. And they film, 2 hours of this. And that, which was, by the way, is way better than this. Like the writing is way better. The plot is way better than this. There are so many ways to do this. And also, I just think I keep coming back to this did not get released until 2025. So I understand absolutely. We were all in lockdown in our houses, like, fine, I get that. But you had production resources after the fact, and you didn't capitalize on them. And that's also fine, by the way. But scrap this shit. Don't release it.
Don't even fucking bother. Like, it can just be dead footage that a movie that got half shot and never got made.
Worse, more expensive Hollywood mistakes have happened.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
It felt like they waited because, again, like 2020, you have to remember how quickly AI has rose in the scene, right? 2020 AI wasn't really a huge thing yet. My guess is they had all this stuff filmed with the actors in these separate shooting locations. And they were like, okay, now we just need to add all these visual effects. And then AI became a thing. And the AI, the CG in this is so fucking bad to the point that it's offensive. They literally, some of the footage in this took real life terrorist attacks, war scenes from the news, and just superimposed these shitty, like, alien animation creatures blowing up, like doing the damage, which is like inherently horrible by itself.
Traumatic, triggering, like it's so bad in so many ways. And I think you hit the nail on the head of like, they got this new technology, they tried to put it to work. Why didn't you create something original then?
If you're gonna make an alien movie of any kind, the number one job is make the aliens look cool, and they look like I'm watching some fucking
My
cartoon
favorite
from the
thing
1990s.
is that the aliens appeared and Lemar guffawed. Like out loud guffawed, was like, are we kidding? And I 100% agree.
It looked like you were playing like Pokemon Go on like an ARG, and you do this, and then there's like a robot here.
Yeah.
That's what
gotta
the
catch
aliens,
them all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. And I looked up and I was like, I'm taking notes or whatever. And I looked up and I was like, oh God, this is so bad. It's so bad.
I would put money on the fact that a lot of this is AI, because if you look at some of the sequences when it's cutting from camera to camera and shot to shot, like shots of cars getting blown up and things, it looks fake, like it looks digital, and each clip is like 3 to 5 seconds long. They're doing these quick cuts where nothing feels practical. So it wouldn't shock me. I mean, you said we couldn't even find the budget. Like, we don't know how much money they spent.
I had to do some weird recon, and I can't say I found a credible source by any means, but like the range was less than 10 million.
And Ice Cube's probably like 2 of that. So like...
Which, God, if they paid Ice Cube, that's insane. I hope it's like closer to 1 million, but even then, Jesus Christ. And he is okay. So let's spend a minute on Ice Cube, shall we? This production could be utter crap, and that would be not his fault. Do you know what is his fault?
His acting.
Every single fucking thing that he does in this movie is so bad. I need you to, so there were multiple times, there were so many times that Ice Cube was terrible in this. And I'm not judging that on its face. Like, I didn't expect a ton from him. But these are not big asks, right? It's reacting to a team's message.
He's also good in 21 Jump Street and other films where he is very Entertainment Friday. He's a decent actor.
He's decent enough.
This reads to me like when I hear him in this, it sounds like what I imagine a first table read is at any of those roles when he sits down to read for the first time.
Well, you said it was like, is this a oneer? Is this a one? Like, did we just do it in one take? Nobody told him he could take two for sure because it's actual crap. And there was this one movement in particular where like something traumatic has happened and it's awful.
Give me your best impression.
And no, it's your impression. I told you. Okay, so Lemar is going to recreate for us this moment where he finds out this terrible thing has happened to his kid, and he is like,
"Oh my God!" He puts his hands, for those that aren't on video, he puts his hands over his mouth like a worried, like, I don't know, in like the Crucible, like a witch would do in like the 1800s.
But it's Lemar did a better job, is what I need you to understand.
Oh my
he
God.
did a better job. He is so slow to react, which, by the way, again, they could have cut tighter even
or
if
had
they
a
wanted
second
to.
take,
like,
maybe?
I don't even know. There were so many options, and he was so delayed, and it was so structured and it was so bad.
Yeah.
And it just immediately, I was like leaning back on my little chaise lounge over here, and I sat up and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It was so bad.
It's incredibly, like, not just Ice Cube, but this entire movie just feels lazy. Outside of the aliens, like just the visual effects in general, when they first show like the storms rolling in and the weather and you see the light, everything looks fake. Of everything we've watched today, it's the worst looking film. And it's one of the newest ones. There's a shot that I laughed out loud at because they're showing a storm in the background. And so you're seeing like it's nighttime and there's lightning flashing across the screen. There is a tree, like a dead oak tree, silhouetted, and the lightning goes like in front of, like, it's just, the visuals are terrible.
That was so in the first minute and a half. You know what I mean? And like, we knew we were set up to fail at that point. I will say there were a couple slightly realistic moments. Dads stalking their kids a little bit, but like to the most extreme degree. That was wild. He is a dad of two. His wife has died, and he is, an NSA analyst rather, and he uses government resources, abuses government resources.
That's like, he's doing his job, but he's just spending his time stalking
before
his
the emergent situation even happens, right? He's like checking on his kid's Lamaze class, not literally, but close. And like, what are we talking about? And then he also he copies and pastes. I need you to understand, no hacker in the history of hackers has copied and pasted a thing with a mouse.
You right click.
Right? Like, he is right clicking. He is right clicking for Jesus on this thing. The Teams of it all, the Microsoft of it all, and he is copy, paste with a mouse. And I was like, the utter shame that Anonymous feels right now, because they're a la Anonymous on this. They're trying to homage to that a little bit. And they do such a bad job. It's so bad. It's not credible at all, other than his daughter has been cut. We're not entirely sure because she's pregnant and they don't make it super clear where she's bleeding from. Seems like maybe it's her leg.
Like upper thigh.
Thigh or whatever. They make it weird. It's shot so bad that you can't tell at first. And he decides that's the moment over video call for the heart-to-heart.
The worst parent-child, like heart-to-heart.
So ever. Bad. And I love that she straight up says, she's like, now's the time for this.
We've mentioned how bad the fucking script is, and that is a huge tell, is how they try to shoehorn in these family emotional ties into this like alien story.
Y'all, he's on Facebook while he is illegally surveilling his children, while he is dealing with a global terrorist threat, like not even terrorist, alien threat. And he is on Facebook and on video cameras, and like, it's insane. I
like how he really loses his shit when they delete his Facebook memories. Like, that's the most like boomer thing.
And he goes,
no, not my Facebook memories. And then he's like, I'm in. Let's go kill these aliens. Like,
and it's like, his terrible fact, his wife has passed away. So the only, I guess, audio, whatever voice of hers is on Facebook. He goes back and replays her voice message.
It's, again, just very telling.
It was literally like, take in the trash cans and also be nice to the kids. Wasn't that what it was?
Pretty much. It
was
yeah,
literally
don't forget me. I love you, babe. Like that kind of thing. But no, it's just so fucking telling that you look at all the companies that are plugged in this, and it's literally every company run by a billionaire in the entire universe.
100%.
It's, insane.
When you listed it off at the beginning, I was like, we obviously throughout mentioned the various companies, but when you listed it in a row, I was like, holy shit balls. No wonder this is so bad. So I want to blame two people in particular. Not only the directors, that's fine. The producers, who are often the money and or execution behind these things. I would like to call out Timur Bekmambetov and Patrick Aiello. What in the actual fuck?
I wonder what else they've done recently.
I just want to know what you were thinking. And why?
If they haven't done much else, I'm sticking to my money laundering. I know it contradicts with like the big billionaire theory, but I feel like it's one or the other. I don't know.
I mean, I'll do some research. We'll come back with a hot take of is it money laundering or is it billionaires?
Yeah, is it a Melania situation where it's just like we want to make ourselves look good? So like,
Melania.
Or like. But no, speaking of like the horrible fucking script, the reveals in this are also, I said it like 10 minutes before it happens. Like, so obviously his son is this hacker thing because his son just starts spouting to him like, Dad, you work at the government, but you don't know this thing. And the dad, Ice Cube, doesn't even think to say, well, how do you know this?
Right.
Quote your source. He's just getting mad at him. And then 5 minutes later, we find out the son is the hacker, and it's just not a really compelling reveal.
His dad is, in fact, an NSA analyst. And I don't care what the source is. He has a source telling him he knows a thing about the active alien invasion that is happening. And let me just tell you, because it is the man, right? Mm-hmm. And he ignores it. I don't find that realistic at all.
Until he's able to, like, quote unquote, decrypt the voice, which made me laugh. Because he has this anonymous message from a YouTube video and he clicks decrypt and it does something to the voice and makes it like more human. But then he's literally just fucking with like the pitch and tone. That could make it anybody's voice, but he makes it sound like his kid and he goes, "Oh my God, it's my son." And I'm like, do Kermit the Frog next. Because literally, if you're just using sliders, you can make that sound like whoever the fuck you want. It doesn't make sense.
Well, that is the thing. He's like, let me just play with, he's trying to unfilter the voice filter that's on it, and they make it seem in the film that he can just change pitch and tone and whatever, and he's gonna find the actual
can do
person
that with GarageBand.
Well, you can do it with GarageBand, you can do it, but it could also turn out to be anybody.
That's what I mean. Like it makes no sense that he deduces that it's his son because he's playing with manual sliders that aren't actually decrypting.
And that's
anything.
where it's like you're looking for the answer you already know. Like I don't know. And then
you pointed out when he ignores his son. He's like, "You're bad. You shouldn't have done this. Whatever you did is evil," and he doesn't listen to anything.
Oh my God,
but
this made me so mad.
As soon as he finds out that his boss is evil, not even that. He calls his boss and they're talking and he's like, "Is this big privacy, blah, 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 blah." And Clark Gregg doing his best here. But then when they take away his Wi-Fi, they're like, "You can't access your computer anymore, Ice Cube." And like, we're taking away. Then he goes back to his kid.
Well, he says, so here's my actual complaint with that sequence. He gets offered by Briggs, the whatever surveillance role or whatever it is. And here's the thing about that. That is actually, I mean, not to play into the man, but if you want power over the way things actually work out and the way people are surveilled, that's kind of the play, if we're being honest. Yeah. You go do that and you're like, I can control the execution of all this, whatever. Anyway, he rejects that. And then he expects to still have access to all of his things. He doesn't get to retain access to his passwords, and he's shocked. And so then he's like, fuck Briggs, fuck that guy. And then his son is hacking him into these things in there. And all of a sudden, this hyper patriotic guy who's like, the reason we surveil things is totally valid, is all of a sudden like, surveillance is bad and terrible.
He turns over a new leaf with like no instigation whatsoever.
Inside of 30 seconds.
Yes.
I need you to understand. Inside of 30 seconds, he has decided that he's on the other side. And it's so insane.
None of this movie makes sense at all.
No.
The one thing that does make sense is apparently when originally it was going to be financed, it was pitched to Universal. They gave it a thumbs up, and it was sold basically on the promise of, hey, we have a way, and I think they stole this kind of from that movie Searching. They probably saw that concept, but they were like, we can sell this as a high budget like sci-fi alien invasion picture, but we could do it at the cost of like a TV thriller movie. The fact that the studio that was producing it said, yeah, that we love that, completely informs the final product.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. What I also want to touch on is I want to apologize for all the filmmakers who have never received even $10 million for their indie films, their story films, their emotionally led film, whatever. There is so much beautiful film work out there.
Yeah.
That is so much better. This is an insult to filmmaking.
Did you end up looking up the cinematographer and like what work they actually had to do to just be like,
I did look him up. There was like nothing.
Yeah.
It is kind of a joke. He is in case anybody's curious, Christopher Probst is our cinematographer here. I don't understand how there is a cinematographer here because it is a screen share. We are watching an hour and a half of a screen share and a poorly acted screen share at that. So this isn't really the note that I wanted to end on, but I just have to say, like, this is so offensive to filmmakers everywhere who have busted their ass. I have friends in the film industry who are skating by, making great work with $100,000, $200,000, maybe $500,000 if they're lucky. And these fuckers got maybe 10 million to screen share for 90 minutes. And it's trash. And the source material is so much better. And actually the concept of how to update it is not terrible. And they still couldn't execute.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It shouldn't have been released. It should not have been released.
It shouldn't have been released. It really should have. Okay, so I looked up the producers, just fun fact. One of them did Wanted. Do you remember Wanted?
I liked Wanted.
Yeah,
okay.
So they did Wanted and produced on the remake of Ben-Hur, which I didn't see, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So like similar vibes, but I think better executed.
Yeah.
And the other producer did, and this is when I'm interested to hear your thoughts. The other one did, and this was Patrick Aiello, did As Above, So Below. Do you remember that?
I liked As Above, So Below.
I know you did.
That was the French catacombs horror movie that was actually pretty compelling.
I know. I did watch it because you told me to.
Yeah.
That he did also a lot of really terrible stuff, but that's probably the best.
I feel like producers are like the, I don't know, hedge fund people in Hollywood. It's like they can just throw money at things.
It really depends.
There's very few that are just like batting 1,000 out there.
I just have to, go at bat for my producer friends. There are producers, as in like PGA kind of producers, producer guild producers, and or comparable. It's not the only people, but in that range. And then there's like executive producers. Okay. Executive producers are often the money, right? Like
or
they're
like the Brad Pitt,
the money,
in the movie,
or the
but
name,
also
or the but like you'll see, for example, Ryan Gosling was a producer on Project Hail Mary, but he was a PGA. He was credited as a producer / PGA. PGA is like the more credible, producers guild. But most of them, like most of the, figurehead types, they're like the executive producers, or they work for the studio, or they work for the money. But there are on the ground producers who are often like a second AD / like PA, but like the head of all the PAs, production assistants. They're the people who are the boots on the ground of the film production, who are making it happen. And I would say the second AD is like the most making it happen behind the director, and then the producers. And so I don't want to mix these people up by any means, because I don't want to throw them all under the bus in this particular context. But what in the fuck was happening on this particular production is all I will say.
We need more behind the scenes stuff about this. Like, this makes me miss like DVD commentaries and just backstage shit of like, I need to know the story of this garbage.
Okay, do you remember the marketing line of this particular production, for example?
It made me laugh. Go ahead.
It was, "It's worse than you think it is."
Most accurate tagline of all time.
War of the Worlds. It's worse than you think it is. That is how this movie was marketed. And that is, they knew, right? Like they had to know. They were just like, it is very tongue in cheek. It has to be like.
I hope there was some sense of irony to all of this. I did laugh like halfway into the movie for all of the plugs and all of the political leanings and the things that this is trying to get across. And we mentioned the Amazons and the Teslas and all that. And they put Fox News on here a lot as like the news network. But I did laugh that at one point they were showing the military like and how like depleted they were. And I was like, fucking Space Force. They put Space Force up there and Space Force was like getting destroyed. And I'm like, if Space Force can't even handle these aliens, we are really fucked because that's literally their job.
Also, like if that was the lobbying for the value of Space Force, they really undermined their messaging there for sure.
It turns out all you need is like an Amazon Prime drone and a thumb drive. Like
literally Amazon Prime Air, apparently.
Yeah. When we talked about Independence Day and like the whole mothership principle. And that's kind of what happens in this. It's like, well, turns out we just need to upload one little virus and we're all good. Again, not the first movie to do it, but it gets a little tiresome in sci-fi.
And I know you don't, but I love sci-fi. So I feel like when it's done really poorly, I'm extra offended. And so this isn't that. This isn't even sci-fi. This isn't an end of the world apocalyptic Armageddon kind of movie. It's not a sci-fi movie. It's a guy in front of his fucking screen share. And for those of us who work from home, this is triggering. I don't need to, on my off hours, hear a Teams ringtone over and over again, So it was just not it for me. I have nothing else to add other than I hated this movie. It was so bad.
If you or anyone else out there wants a palate cleanser that does this concept well, again, go watch Searching. I think you will be pretty impressed by what that is able to do with the concept.
Okay. Do you have a terrible factoid for us?
The fun fact, honestly, I could tell you that based on how much people hated this movie, there's only like 20 or 30 facts, and almost all of them are like negative down.
Hate this movie.
Just because they hated the movie, so nothing about it is interesting. But this is 25 out of 40, so it's almost at 50%. But I just thought this was so fucking stupid. Many of the character names are descriptions of the character. Will has willpower. Faith has faith. David defeats Goliath. Goodman is a good man. Sandra NASA works at NASA. I don't think that was her last name. I think it was like she works at NASA. So
no,
that
it was her
title
name. On her
and the
screen.
person who wrote this thought that was her.
Oh my god! I was telling Lemar that like Eva Longoria's, hers, NASA, whatever. She did like shots at home. She was like, my team's video preview is not going to be shitty.
Oh, and she made sure she had a good headshot.
She made sure she looked good in the headshot. Is what I'm saying. And also, I'm pretty sure she used root spray as her fake bruises or dust or whatever it was later. Like, it's so bad. Anyway, okay, that's terrible. Womp womp. What's your rating?
This might legitimately be the worst movie we've ever done on the podcast.
It's 100% the worst movie we've ever done.
I think my real question like comes down to, do I want to give it like a 1 or a 2? I don't think it's like the worst movie ever made. There were like 2 things out of a million that I liked in it.
Wait, what were the 2?
You mentioned you were like giving them credit for a couple little things.
I
like,
was reaching so hard.
I like parts of the ambition, and I think at least 1 or 2 of the actors involved. And if you take into account that this was during COVID, and if they were legitimately just like, hey, we're trying to do something creative while we can only record in this way, the ambition I give like a little bit of grace. But the fact that they waited 5 years to release it and just sort of stamped a bunch of shitty AI and CGI on top of it, I don't have anything to compare it to. It's so fucking bad. I don't recommend
incomparable.
It to anybody,
we'll give it that.
I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
Jesus Christ!
I think my Letterboxd, I gave it a 1 out of 5 stars, so that would mathematically make it a 2 out of 10. So
wow. Okay. I'm gonna give it if I could give it a 0, I would. It was a 1 out of 10 max. Fair. I mean, I don't. Again, during the film, and I think this was for my sanity, I was trying to find things. I certainly was, but playing it back in my head. Fuck this fucking movie. Fuck Amazon for releasing it. There have been, again, worse financial losses in terms of film production in the history of Hollywood. Let it fucking go and save me the hour and a half or whatever it ended up being. And I mean, it made for a story, and we still had a good time, I guess. Like doing.
I feel like
so there's
in
that.
Most senses when we have this discussion, I can enjoy a really shitty movie. Like I was laughing throughout this. I never want to see it again, but I had a good time because of how bad this was. I'm pleasantly surprised you were laughing a good amount throughout it as well, despite how shitty
What's
the movie
funny
was.
is I think it helps me watching it with you. It really does, because like you're laughing, you're bringing up things while we're watching it. I'm bringing up things while it helps, because if you're not here, I'm just in my fucking doom scroll like rabbit hole of like I hate this, and so at least I can chuckle with you about it. I mean, I don't think I would have had nearly as good an experience if it were just me. But I still think the film itself on the whole, 1 out of 10 max.
It's pretty fucking bad.
It's pretty terrible.
What are your overall like? So we're at the end of Mayhem.
We're at the end. We did it in one day. Oh my god, we've never done it.
4 episodes. Overall, like, how are you feeling? Like,
this was a blast.
Yeah.
This was a blast. What do you think?
Same. I think it's a good way to knock out a handful of episodes. It's different.
What I am hearing him say is like, I love that I only had to spend 1 day with you rather than 4 business days with you.
But we get to do it in person, so that's nice. And yeah, it's fun, and I think that we'll have to listen back because maybe we're really fucking obnoxious this episode.
We can't even tell. That's the best part, is we're however many drinks in, and so we're like, are we making sense anymore? I don't even know.
Overall, pretty successful. So let us know what you guys think. So
yeah, you can tell us if we didn't do it. I think it was fun. I also like to show off my video wall, selfishly.
Look at all these Blu-rays.
It's not, I feel, okay, so I follow lots of other, film podcasters, and I feel self-conscious about my wall. Guys, I have 600 plus films on this wall, and that's apparently not even close.
You need to get, what's the one that I see all the actors now where they pull them into that closet, and it's like, not Criterion, but there's
the Criterion closet.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need that thing.
I do need that. Yeah. I do. Anyway, I love it. So I'm glad we got to spend some time with it.
I do.
All right. Well, thank you, friends, for coming along on this crazy ride. We're way ahead of the game, as we've established.
Yeah, it's May 2nd right now.
Right. So we have literally no idea what we're doing for June. Couldn't tell you. Wish you the best. Maybe sportsy. We do that generally over the summer. Blockbusters, whatever. Let us know maybe what you're interested in. But right now we're going to take a breather. We're going to take a hot minute. But we will see you in June. Like, this is going to feel like a week later for you guys. It's going to be a month later for us.
Yeah. Yeah, but in the meantime, follow us on our socials. We drink and we watch things, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Leave us a comment. I wasn't going to address this one because I'm pretty sure it's a bot. But I just thought,
motherfucker.
I thought while we were drunk, it'd be a fun time to have this discussion. Do it. So shout out, if you're a real person, Reginald Westbrook 7253 on YouTube, who 2 weeks ago listened to our Sinners episode from last year and said, "Why this, comma? Why would someone want to sit here and listen to you just talk? Just review the movie. That's what people want to see. Your reaction, not your lecture. Boring. You're boring."
What I need y'all to know, the way I sent this screenshot to Lemar, and I was like, why are people? Here's what I have to say to you, and it's maybe wildly going to be alienating, and I don't really care. If you don't like this, do not watch this. It's so simple. If you don't want to watch us on YouTube, on Instagram, on Spotify, whatever, I don't really care. This is because we're nerds. And we like to have a good time deep diving about this shit. We also have to clearly therapize about films like this nonsense. So we have a great time with it. And it is absolutely fine if you don't. So why? It took you more time to write that than scroll on.
Yeah, I've got my own theories. I feel like the Sinners episode, we went into a lot of like racial topics and social topics. So if somebody does it, and we've made mention throughout this whole month of like different political ideologies and things we agree, even this episode. So like, if you don't agree with that, I get that you might not be a good fit for this podcast, but our feelings won't be hurt.
I think we've also been very clear about who we are over the course of our podcast. We are, science is real. All lives matter, trans rights are human rights. Trump is the worst and he can fuck off. I mean, if that's not clear enough, I'm sure we have plenty more, but I'm just saying, like, on the whole, if you're not in alignment with those concepts, like, we're not for you.
Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. Yes. Thank you so much. All right. Anyways, this has been a great time, and I hope that you guys come back in June for whatever we end up doing, TBD. But for now, go have a drink and watch a thing. Cheers.
Cheers.